Hello everyone, welcome to the CNFT.tools Discord server. My name's ToolSin. I am joined by the staff and founders from the League of Lions who are minting on Friday, I believe. I have Ian and Dr. Lion here. Ian, if you'd like to introduce yourself and Dr. Lion, and we can go from there.
Hi, I'm
Yeah,
Ian. I'm the. Hello?
Yeah, hear you fine.
Hello. Hello. I'm Ian, known as Lion Tamer, co founder of League of Lions.
Yeah, and Dr. Lion.
good evening. My name is Mike, also known as Dr. Lion, and I'm involved in the more scientific aspect of the League of Lions.
Cool. So I've kind of changed how I like to start things off. I would like to start things off by going over your mint date and price and whitelist and everything like that, so we can get that info out to people. So you're minting on Friday, I believe.
Yes, that's correct. We are minting on Friday a total of 1,000 tools, Tree of Life, and they are priced at 100 here each.
And what time is that on Friday, and where is the sale happening?
It is, I'm sorry, the time. Toolsin, do you have the actual time yourself on there? Sorry, I'm actually on mobile. So I just
Well,
sorry about this.
obviously, I'm going straight to the CNFT.tools drops calendar because that will tell me all.
Sorry about this, but I'm fighting fires at the moment. I just actually moved house on Friday, and I travelled from Ireland over to Spain. It was 29 hours in a ferry, and then I drove up from Bilbao in Spain up to France. And I had a bit of a nightmare yesterday
Oh
driving
wow!
up through it. Came across a few accidents and that, so I'm kind of fighting fires here at the moment.
Yeah,
I
that sounds like an absolute nightmare. Um,
believe it is, yeah.
so I've done the sensible thing. I've gone to the tools, the tools calendar, and it says exact times to be announced.
Oh, right.
So
So there
apparently
you
I
are.
don't know either.
Right. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. Well, we'll be minting, I believe, around 3 p.m. UTC on Friday. It is a whitelist only mint, so I don't really believe it matters, how long it's open for, because it
Yeah.
will be give our whitelisters a chance to mint, during their own times and everything else. So we're trying to be flexible, because as I say, there is no public mint as such.
Yeah, I mean, and it's when you're in that kind of situation, it's not necessarily imperative that you're there on the dot, ready to go. Like, you can finish your day's work without having to like panic about running to the toilet to be able to mint and stuff.
That's correct. That's. I mean, we started the project back in March, and we have taken our time and did everything as well as possible. Paid attention to detail and everything, including all our artwork. And as I say, there's no rush as such. We've tried to do everything to help investors. Also, by doing it at the beginning of September, it was to give investors or people who want to mint as such, time to get back from their holidays and everything, because August is such a crazy month, as you know, in the
Yeah.
UK and in the EU, and everyone's no one wants to run around doing mint and NFTs. So, to say, we tried to accommodate them by an early September mint.
No, makes a lot of sense. And let's face it, if you're in the UK, none of us are going to have any money by the winter to mint anything anyway.
Yeah. Well, I just left Northern Ireland, so yeah, I just left Northern Ireland on Friday. So I know what the UK is like. It's been uh, it's been pretty hot over there too during the summer. But I've just arrived in France and it was 35 today. So
Oh wow.
I've been struggling a bit because whenever I left Northern Ireland on Friday, it was 16. So there's a fair difference to
Yeah,
have to.
Yeah, I'm quite glad I'm not with you, to be honest. I don't do well in the heat, let alone that type of heat.
Yeah, I'm quite sad. I'm with myself here as well. A minute, coming from one extreme to the next. Just I wasn't expecting it to be as hot still, so late in August.
Oh man. So you mentioned that you started League of Lions back in May, you said?
It was back in March, actually.
Sorry,
Yes,
March. So
yes, that's correct.
how did you guys come together, and how was the League of Lions born?
Right. Well, League of Lions originally basically it was myself and Big Cat. Big Cat has been known to me now for over 3 years. He was actually introduced by Dr. Lion Mike, who I know for around 4 years. So we all know each other in crypto because back in June 2018, I started Vault Investments. So it was my first project, and actually, Big Cat came in as an investor through Mike, Dr. Lion, and say we have known each other for a long time. We chat to each other, we bounce things off each other, and he came into our Vault Investments, and then he became advisor. So, as I say, we just keep following the tech and evolving with what's out there. And we had a chat and decided, I think it was late in 2021, that we would start our own NFT project. And what better than Cardano to do it on?
Yeah, I mean, what was it that brought you to Cardano versus, the somewhat plethora of other options available?
Well, to be honest, we did. We did actually review everything. We looked at everything out there, and well, Cardano is something known to us both. I was actually trading it back when it first started. Whenever I was trading crypto, and Big Cat, he's actually into Cardano. I think almost from the start, so he's a big believer in it. But we just didn't jump in. We went out, and we checked all the other chains and everything before we actually decided, that we would actually um, go with Cardano. So yeah, I think it was good choice. Definitely the best technology to be using.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's all kind of things that's done differently over here, which can be a bit of a challenge for people coming across. Sort of like, how did you find the the difference in some of the ways that we do things over here versus how they do it on ETH or Solana or whatever?
Well, for one, like you don't need to mortgage your house whenever you're making a transaction. So I think
I
I
mean,
think
that
that
helps, right?
that definitely helps. And well, we're from the UK, like we watch your pennies as well. So yeah, it was a big deciding factor. Plus, I mean, Big Cat would be the best to talk about, or the difference there. He'd be more the expert in this. As I say, I was more trading Cardano back in the day, whereas he is someone who is one of the sort of OGs that's been in from the start, and he's followed everything. So he bounces things off me and educates me on Cardano.
Nice. So, how big is the League of Lions team now then?
Well, big League Alliance, sorry. The League Alliance team is myself and Big Cat as co-founders. Then we have got a couple of artists, a lead artist, and then another one that we would use. Both are anonymous, and they do other projects. So at the moment, they remain anonymous. But at some point, they might actually decide, to join the team officially and reveal themselves. But yeah, we also have Dr. Lion, who you've just met, and he can describe himself and what his job is. But really, we have a good Discord team that we've handpicked, and we have a few in Telegram. Um, but it's mainly myself and Big Cat that oversee everything because we're kind of big believers in, if you want something done, you're better being hands on and being into it yourself. So yeah, we see everything. We watch everything. We pay attention to detail, and we spend time with artists and everyone that we have to. Like we do some serious hours behind the scenes, as well as in front of them.
It does look like Big Cat's available to say
I,
hello now.
I think I might actually be on. That was arduous.
Hey!
Sorry, guys.
20
Big
minutes of
Cat.
panicking later.
I have
Big,
never had that
big,
happen before. I had to download the app onto my phone because I don't keep Discord on my phone because it'll ping you to death no matter what you do. So I apologize for the delay, everybody, but I seem to be here now.
No, welcome to your AMA.
I still want to find out what happened, but I'll do that after. See if we can avoid that ever happening again. Thank you much. Thank you for your patience.
So yeah, where were we now?
I think we'd be better getting Big Cat to give you the Cardano story and everything
Yes.
that we missed out on there. So he thought he would just let me sweat it out for a bit before he would join.
I think you did just fine.
Well, at least I didn't start firing all the technical questions about minting services and stuff.
Good stuff. As Ian had said, I got into crypto in general in 2017, and the ones of us that did, we experienced the boom and then the sudden collapse right after. I became a big fan of Cardano quickly on. I really like the scientific approach. I like the way they've done things from that aspect instead of trying to rush. And I think especially with Ethereum, they're really starting to have a lot of blowback now from rather rushing to market before the product was fully ready. I'd rather the slow and steady, and especially there's been so many scandals, scams, and ripoffs with Ethereum. Even when you think you're doing everything right, you think you're doing it correctly, you check MetaMask, you click something, and your wallet's emptied out.
Yeah, that's a horrible feeling. I wish people didn't have to go through that one.
It's kind of frustrating, but at the same time, I mean, to me, it's almost gross negligence. I mean, if this were an established type of any kind of industry, people go to jail for this kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, well, this is the thing. I mean, it's all very well to be, outside of, government control and everything like that. But, it's also the government that drives the regulations that enforces, KYC and stuff like that, so people don't have their wallets emptied without their permission. So
Correct. Yeah, it's I guess pretty hard finding that sweet spot. But things are completely unregulated. There's a lot of dangers there within themselves, and people find out the hard way sometimes. I mean, we'd like the governments to stay out of our business to a larger degree, but maybe not fully. It'd be good to have a certain amount of regulation that everyone knows where they stand.
I mean, this is the thing. I mean, it's an easy thing to forget, but Cardano is built for helping governments maintain identity records and educational records and things like that. Those aren't things that that can be let get out of control.
Absolutely, and I think that's paying great dividends for them already in many countries in Africa, and I believe South Korea is perhaps starting a program with them, and or Japan. So I'm curious. It's very exciting to watch this happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of announcements coming out every day, and obviously everybody's waiting for the Vassal hard fork and everything.
Yes.
But yeah, we are departing from the reason that brings us here, which is the League of Lions. So yeah, I mean, so how did it all come about from your perspective?
And I'll just kind of jump in. I apologize if I'm repeating anything, but I was fighting that whole sound issue. I couldn't tune in the whole time. Ian and I were discussing various things, as we always do from our time together and doing the other projects like Vault. And we came upon the discussion of CNFTs and NFTs in general. And as quickly as I understood crypto, I did not understand NFTs. I first came across it and I went, I don't know about all this. This seems rather hokey. Seems like maybe it's a solution in search of a need. And then I was watching probably a YouTube, and it was phrased and maybe a little bit of new information in a way that's like, oh, I had that aha moment. And that was when seeing that artists, for the first time in history, actually get paid for their work more than once.
Yeah.
And they can actually share in benefits down the road when something's resold, rather than the few that hope they get famous before they're dead instead of after, that they can actually partake in some of the profits, rather than the bigger investors buying, and they pretty much get the majority of the profits, while the starving artists are indeed just that. Unless, as I said, unless you hope and you make it while you still have enough of your life left to enjoy the bigger proceeds for it. This turns everything on its head. It's just monumental. And then even looking at, I read an example recently, say, the problems that they're having with, say you go to a sports stadium, you're watching a soccer game, football, and your ticket's already been duplicated. With NFTs, you have ways that cannot happen anymore, and that's a brand new ball game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of very smart people have said this, and it's something that I agree with wholeheartedly. Sort of like the state of blockchain technology and NFTs and how everything's all interconnected is at a very early stage in development, much like the internet was in the early 90s.
Correct.
It's a sort of thing we don't know the direction or how big and how far it's going to go, but it's going to go.
Correct. Well, with most technology, it gets invented, and then the things that come out of it are beyond what anyone had even dreamed at the time. It just
Yeah,
becomes its own animal. So
that's
Ian and I had discussed the league, and he brought the Lions concept, and we were discussing it pretty much all day on a Sunday, many many moons ago. Now it feels like, and I had brought up the idea of, if we're going to do something, we're not going to just repeat what everyone else is doing, or why bother? And we started talking about genetics, and I thrown the idea at him, well, why don't we make this more of a living, breathing type of an element? Why don't we have the lions and lionesses actually be able to breed and have cubs? But then why don't we actually make those cubs specific, have them individual traits, and those traits actually are, from the mother and father, and then so on and so forth, that the cub actually over time grows up, becomes a lion, becomes a lioness, and now those traits are once again rather intermingled in and recessive and dominant, and from the grandparents even. And so I had talked to Mike, I think the next day after, and we were talking about NFTs, and I don't think he was. I think he'd been reading about them a little, but I don't think he was very involved. He can correct me if I'm wrong. And we discussed the idea of the project, and he seemed to like it just fine. And then when I entered the whole portion of the genetics, he really just took, because, well, it is what he does. And I said, no, this is me. He said that this is exciting. This sounds like he said, I've never heard of something like this before, as far as in this type of world, somebody trying to do this. He said, let's discuss this, let's hash this out and see, let's make something work here. And that's kind of how the things really started.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like that you guys have had a great idea, and you do seem to be quite capable from the things that I've been seeing on the website and stuff like that, which is amazing job on the website, by the way.
Thank you.
Like it's surprising how many projects don't put the effort into a good website, because it is actually
Well,
really important for for showing how a project, how professionally a project is approaching it.
and that's it's one of those things that first impressions are very important. With anything, with relationships with the business world. And Ian and I both come from the business world, and I'm still actively involved with multiple corporations. And so I get that point of it, I suppose, more than many people do. We were discussing pretty recently, there's so many great ideas in crypto, and I read some things and go, that this is just phenomenal. Why didn't I think about this? But having the idea and bringing it and implementing it and seeing it to fruition is a completely different thing than just having the concept. And if you don't know how to run companies, you're at a disadvantage in that you have to learn how to do that too. And I think a lot of times that hurdle is just too high. You're trying to figure out how to get things running, But you don't. Well, so what do I do with that? Well, what do I do with payroll? How do I hire this guy? How do I pick the right people for the right fields?
Yeah, and also, taxes, they always have to be paid, and, bills, and making sure the little bits and pieces are taken care of. Like, there's a lot of project management that gets involved with it as well.
Correct, and that's a good point. Is as far as figuring out the money structure and a sustainable one at that. So many, and Ian and I and Mike too can attest back into the Masternode world era, and perhaps you as well. There were fantastic ideas that came out, but many of them were set up in such a way that the project didn't maintain funds for itself. They raised funds one time, and there was nothing left to pay the bills after that. Once the
Yeah,
funds ran out, the project was dead.
yeah. So either mint another collection or die.
Correct. Well, that was before minting in that thing, but I mean, the same holds true for the NFT world. You want to find a sweet spot, shall we say, in where everyone can win. The project needs to continue, or nothing else matters anyway, as far as that project is concerned. But you also have to reward loyal members. You also have to make sure, the people that some of your moderators and that are doing a great job, they need to be paid, and you can't keep doing it out of your pocket. So, that's how we get it up and running. And we're in a nice situation in that we haven't needed to collect any money. We haven't needed to do anything like that. We're self-funded. Many projects don't have that ability. So I'm very appreciative that we've been able to do it at our own pace and dictate everything without maybe rushing a mint before something's ready, just because we need to raise funds.
Yeah, I mean that's very important to be able to have the freedom to launch a completed project rather than either a half finished project or in the case of a lot of mints recently a promise to start work on something.
Correct.
So what does the overall grand plan for League of Lions look like?
We're coming up right now on, as I believe everyone had discussed, on our TOL mint, and that brings the Tree of Life portion. And on that mint, I think we're getting ready to put that up on both the website and Discord's, our server, and the like. 50% of secondary, just as an aside here, goes back into the project. 25% goes to the TOL, the Lifetime Pass Tree of Life holders. And the other 25% goes into our end game. And that's something I think Ian will get into more because that was his baby and his creation. But that will be involved with the Syndicate League, and that's where things are heading toward down the road. So we're starting to set up funds to handle that now, including we'll be staking those assets, and it'll be publicly available for viewing where they're at.
So yeah, I mean, which mint are you guys? Have you made your own minting service, or are you using a off-the-shelf solution, or how are you handling all that?
Ian, that's your baby there.
Sorry, man, I broke up there. All I got was off the shelf.
As
So
far as
yeah,
minting services,
yeah. Did you opt to use a minting service, or have you built your own, or what's going on with that?
We are actually using our own dev, our own blockchain dev, who has worked for us on our Vault project. He has done other mints as well, also in different blockchains. Done Sol, and he's done a few on Cardano. So yeah, he's built our own minting engine. We'll be doing that ourselves.
Nice. Will that be a multi-sign transaction, or will it be a traditional send ADA?
I believe it will be a traditional send IDA due to the fact that it's a whitelist only.
Yeah.
Maybe from our second mint on, where we obviously have our public mint and everything, it'll be a different story. But for this one, I believe it'll be traditional.
No, I mean it makes a lot of sense. Like you shouldn't have tens of thousands of people all trying to click in at once, at least.
No, that's correct. as we are just actually going with his advice. As I said, every man to his own skills, and he certainly knows what he's doing. So we'll leave that in his capable hands to deal with it for us.
So moving sort of like back slightly, what's the goal of the project? Like, where is it heading? I mean, I see you've got some charity stuff in the roadmap. Like, what other things do you have planned, and like, what kind of utility and stuff are you hoping to bring to the space?
Um, Big Cat, do you want to take that one?
As far as the charities, that will still be under discussion. I have a pretty warm place in my heart for lion type charities, but I think as long as it's animal related, I would rather let the community have say in that with us. This is a project that we're building toward the community helping us guide it with their actions. So, for instance, when we get to the point where you're breeding cubs, there will be a randomization there, but it's up to the community. Just because you can breed doesn't mean you have to. Maybe you choose not to. Or maybe you have a lion or a lioness where you can breed a couple of times. Maybe you choose to do that, and that's going to change the actual project as far as how many cubs get minted. How does that affect things moving forward? And I think, Ian, that probably gets into more where the syndicate comes in if you wanted to sort of take over there.
Yeah, sure. Well, all our lion and lionesses will be in 6 different classes. Um, so you'll have 6 different classes made up of different professions in each class, from dreamers right up to the royal syndicate, or the royal class, I should say. Um, they will make up 7 different syndicate leagues. Now, 6 of those leagues, as you're probably thinking, how can we have 7 leagues from 6 classes? Well, the answer to that is, again, something what Big Cat sort of touched on there is it'll be all to do with your actions. If, for example, you keep aristocrats and breed only aristocrats with aristocrats, that's the top, the royal, then you would become a royal league, a syndicate league. But if you were to, for example, breed an aristocrat with one of the lower classes, then you break that. Should say probably true blood of that. So it can't be an aristocrat. It can't be in the royal league. So as I say, there's 7 syndicates, and 6 of those are made up of normal classes. Again, it's all to do with your actions. You'll have every syndicate league needs a tree of life. It needs a tool to actually be part to form a syndicate league. Then you have what we call the patriarch, the matriarch, the father and the mother, and then you have a grown lion and a grown lioness, so an adult lion and lioness, which you'll have grown from cubs. So it all depends what classes they are in, but the actual syndicate league is determined by the head of the family, which is either the patriarch or the matriarch. So if, for example, your patriarch is a royal and your matriarch is one of the lower leagues, well then your patriarch would be the one that would determine the syndicate league that you would form. So it's quite complex, and it's very hard to explain without going on about it all night. It's in the white paper, and I'd be happy to answer any questions after someone had read it as such. But as I say, I could take up the whole night talking about it because there is such a lot of detail in it. But yes, the syndicates at the end of the day are what will get you a share of the end game, which is this pool that is starting right from the first mint, and it will continue through every mint. There will be a share of each. Royalty share will go into the end game. Plus, there'll be other streams that we'll find and put into it. And it'll be stacking. It'll be an ADA pool that'll be stacking and growing and accumulating for the time whenever the syndicate leagues have grown and are ready to start paying out. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I think I covered a fair bit there.
And breathe. So I think it's probably Dr. Lyon's turn to shine now. If he wants to talk about like the genetics and how all the breeding stuff works. I've also got a couple of questions myself that I'll hold for afterwards, but I do want to make sure that everybody in the audience knows that if they've got any questions that they want to ask, just fire them into NFT chat, and I'll make sure that the team get a chance to answer them. But yeah, if Dr. Lyon wants to get into the juicy details of genetic mutations, I'm all ears.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to go into mutations and stuff, because that's going to make it even more complex than it already will be. Um, but what's interesting, and I think what's really unique in this particular project, and also the way it's set up, right, is the whole breeding program, and the whole idea of using traits which are inherited from the parents. And we're not just going to inherit the traits one on one, but you have a dominant, recessive. So basically, meaning that you need two copies of a gene for a certain trait. In other cases, you need one copy of a gene to get a trait. And the interesting aspect there for me is that I want to follow the Mendelian inheritance as much as possible. Um, it's a very basic and interesting genetic structure, which is also quite easy for people to follow. I think if we go into the more complex genetical systems, where you, for example, have multiple genes determining a phenotype, it becomes really complex and really advanced. And you would like also for people to be able to somehow track what they're doing, even though that's not 100% possible, obviously. So um, for me, it was also the thing that attracted me to this project immediately. I mean, I would say I'm a science geek, and yeah, genetics. I mean, it's just my job, and I've done my PhD in genetics and genetic disorders. So when I heard about the idea to implement genetics, I just had so many ideas and possibilities that I probably over overdid it a bit with the details towards Ian and Big Cat, to that extent. But I think the sky is the limit with this. Um, but what is cool, that you, for example, have a trait which pops up in one of the is from one of the parents, disappears in a cub, and then if that cub grows up and gets cubs of himself or herself, that these traits could pop up again, and this makes it very interesting, also because there are limitless possibilities, without going into too much details.
Okay. So, is there any actions required for a pup to grow up to become an adult lion?
Yeah, so this is a basic question that actually fits better with Big Cat and Ian, I would say. Um, I assume that there goes a certain time over it, right? So they need to grow up, I would say.
What I would like to add is that once the TOL mint is over, we will be starting work on a new white paper, which will be more detailed towards the lion and lionesses. At the moment, we've only sort of tipped the iceberg with it, and we didn't want to go in too much. But before we actually do mint any lions or lionesses, everyone will have all the details in front of them of how it works, all broke down properly, and they will know exactly what they're getting into. But yes, cubs will have to grow up. They will grow up through a number of actions, but it'll be to do basically with our actual clause token, which has already been minted and it's sitting on the blockchain. You can actually see the address in the white paper for that. So we will use the clause token as payment really for breeding the cubs. It will also determine too, if, for example, the cubs is in a lower class, it may be slower at actually maturing to an adult as opposed to one of the top classes. So yes, they have to grow up from a cub to an adult lion or lioness.
Nice. And with the breeding, is it the kind of thing that you're gonna go into knowing what the result's gonna be, or is it a case of there's 30 is there any random elements to it?
Well,
Yeah, so
we will.
I
Sorry, go ahead, mate.
sorry, Ian. Yeah. So basically, I mean, it's the same like genetics in humans, right? There is a certain random element. You know that you will inherit one of the copies from your mother and one from your father, but which one you're going to get, there's no way of predicting that. And I would like to keep this randomness in this setting as well. So you could, if you know whether something is recessive or dominant, you could kind of make a prediction how big the chances are, but you will never be 100% sure of the outcome, which also creates unique hubs and unique alliance, which probably are not present yet during the mint. So even over the time, new features will actually develop, right? So you will have, for example, a lion with blue eyes and a yellow skin, which might not be present at the mint stage.
Nice. So, and each time this happens, so are lions able to breed more than once?
Yeah, I would say so. Yes.
Okay.
Right. Sorry. Yes. That again is something. It depends on the actual traits that are built in. That's part of the traits we've built in to manage the supply. Some lions can breed maybe once or twice. Um, Others may, you know, I think it's once or twice, and the lionesses are the same, but it'll be represented by a trait actually in the NFT. So whenever you get the NFT, you will see how many times it can breed, and each time it breeds, it'll be replaced. So you'll know, like for example, you've got one left, or if you've got no breeding lives left, then it's actually an adult lion or lioness at that point. So it's generating a passive income, being an adult.
And to add to that quickly, within the one or two breeding seasons that you would have, there will be a randomness built in where you will breed 1 to 3 cubs, and that will be built into the NFT as well.
Oh, okay. So, you could get really lucky and end up with three cubs, but, if you're a little bit more like me, then you'll end up with one.
Correct.
I mean, the odds of me minting two and getting both a male and a female are probably about 1% anyway.
You have the same luck that I do. Okay.
Pretty much. I mean, it's quite stunning how bad you can run for how long.
I've always said on a 50-50 coin toss, I don't believe how I get it wrong 75% of the time.
Yeah, facts on that. I mean, it's like in the last like 50 mints, I probably managed like two in the top 50% of any project. Like, not even joking. It's like,
I can sympathize.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, I always get within one or two of the bottom rank. If I mint three or more, I'm guaranteed one in like, the bottom 0.1%.
Correct. Something else I did want to add quickly. One of the other things we're really focused upon is we want you with us on the journey the whole way, but it shouldn't be forced. So even where we're doing this first mint with the TOLs, that's why 25%, goes back to the community. In secondary, the royalties that come from the
Yeah.
royalties. So we want you to move on and you do the alliance and do syndicates and things like that, because that is the goal of the project, and the involvement is part of that. But it shouldn't be something where you're forced to do so. So even let's say you buy a TOL and you get busy in life, things happen, you get married, who knows? You say, well, maybe I get back to you guys later, maybe I don't. But there's still a way that you're slowly earning something back to the point that eventually it just pays for itself. And then you get into a passive income situation. And that is part of what we're trying to do. That it's a project we're trying to make enjoyable, to be fun, to be innovative, but also to slowly earn the money back from what you were doing. So you could stop with one of those TOLs and go, well, I'm done for now. I'll check back with you later. And then slowly the money will come back in from royalty sales and the like, and you'll be made whole again. And eventually you'll be making money, even if you stop right there.
Yeah, I mean that does rely on a healthy secondary market, which I mean the secondary market. more recently hasn't been quite as healthy for most projects that aren't named Cornucopia.
Certainly, yeah.
But
Cornucopia and Virtua, and then after that, everybody else.
yeah, but I mean, sort of like even like it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough looking right now, honestly.
It is.
I thought we were going to dip under 500,000 ADA traded in a day a couple of days ago. The only
Well,
reason we've not dipped below that is Cornucopia.
we're in a pretty good bear market right now, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
also not amused how well crypto is just tracking the U.S. stock market. I'm not amused by that at all, but here we are for the moment. I see that delinking and separating at some point.
Yeah, I mean the problem is that we're still kind of small fry compared to the size of those markets,
We
and
are.
those markets kind of control the flow of money. So it's like once you have your money in crypto, it's fine, but sometimes getting it that way, and obviously bringing new people into a space when everything is certainly on a downhill slide, is rough.
Yeah, it goes back to
There'll
the
be good
whole
times in the
crypto
future
versus.
again where everything will bounce up, and wars will finish, and the human race will find a way to get through this crisis, and in a couple of years before the next crisis, we'll have a good couple of years, I'm sure.
Yeah, everything works in a cycle, and that 2017 into 2018 that burned me, and I did not make all the same mistakes this last time around. But it goes to show that the banking system and Wall Street. Look at the Terra Luna disaster. I don't know if everything read there is true. If you make a deal with the devil, and the devil here is Wall Street, and don't be surprised with the outcome when it comes on you. I mean, he
Yeah,
halfway crashed crypto because of that deal, and the deal was not necessary.
no, yeah. I mean, there is a lot of greed around, and some people are better at turning it into multi-billion-dollar industries than I am.
Same
Because
here.
let's face it.
I'll stay in my lane.
Yeah, I mean, what they're on a super yacht somewhere, running around the Caribbean or something now.
I'm a working dog anyway. I don't know what I do. I'd enjoy it for 3 or 4 days. I'd get bored quickly.
That's for sure. Oh dear. So, we haven't really touched on the artwork yet. You guys have put a ton of work into that as well. So, like, how long did the artwork side of it take? I mean, you mentioned earlier you've got two artists, so there's obviously been a lot going into it.
I'm going to let Ian handle this one.
The artwork, I would say, has been going almost since the beginning. Every one that you see that we've did, has had a number of revisions, and we've hurt his heads quite a few times, asking for more. Um, I'd say we've paid attention to detail of everything, and we have also kept our promises that we said we would. We said that before we would go to mint with anything, they would actually have a white paper, and they'd also have a lion and lionesses. They would have they would actually know what our lionesses looked like. We've so yeah, it's taken a lot of time, and to be honest, we're already working on the lions and lionesses at the minute, so it's been continuous nearly from the.
Yeah, sorry, you are breaking up quite a bit there.
Sorry, I just seem to be having a really bad connection here. Whenever Dr. Lyon was talking, I was only getting bits of what he was saying.
Yeah, I mean, you seem okay for a minute, but you were fading in and out a second ago.
Yeah, sorry, you broke up there on me.
So yeah, I mean, I guess we should flick that over to somebody else.
Yes, as far as the artists, I think, at least on my end, Ian came through pretty clearly there. We've been doing some custom one-of-ones to show what we've what we're capable of. Our artists, I'm not going to take credit for that. And in including the Tree of Life, this initial mint, these are bonsai trees. They're completely 3D. You can rotate them in any direction. You can see the bottom of the planter if you like. And we actually started with a full-size tree idea with this initial lifetime pass. And if you're familiar with projects like, say, Prosperia or Overexposed, I mean, that kind of idea with a lifetime pass that it will just keep giving you benefits. The first time I saw that, and that was with Overexposed, I liked the concept. It worked, and that was one of the things we decided we wanted to implement. So these, with the Tree of Life, we were looking at the full size, and we were talking with Cardistacks, actually, with Karin, and with the Cold Fusion Zoom as well. And we started messing around with the idea that, well, they're saying, so, well, the full-size tree is great, and we'd love to help you, but it doesn't really fit in an apartment. It says, well, a bonsai would. And they said, yes, a bonsai would. So we sort of changed it around there and thought, well, why don't we kind of shift it? Let's do something with a bonsai. Let's mess with the apartment idea that in addition to having this NFT, it's actually useful in a real environment that you can, if you buy a studio apartment in Cardistacks, you can actually show it off there. In addition, I believe we're going to be making the brass lion, the full-size ones for their OG lounge, which we're pretty excited about. But so we switched to the bonsai trees, and then what we'll do is, because we've done the artwork, and they've worked really hard on this for the full-size trees as well, we will do an airdrop after the fact, that after you have a bonsai, 1-for-1, you will get a full-size tree airdrop to you after that, as long as, you maintain it in a verified wallet until we do the drop.
Yeah, I mean that sounds awesome. I mean, I personally like the idea of the lifetime pass / OG item, or it comes under a few different names depending on the project, but I do think it's an especially good way to say thank you to your most dedicated holders.
Agree. I mean, we're really trying to look at the ways that value comes back to you. We appreciate the support that we get, and we want to make sure that you understand, well, okay, well, what am I getting for my support? And these are just some of the ways of doing it. You do get the airdrop. You do get, secondary sales. You do get, as we expand upon this, the benefit that the TOL holds for you as we do the next rounds of mints.
So skipping back slightly, there's a couple of questions that's popped up in NFT chat. Will there be option for lines to be used as a stud service? So if somebody's got a female, can somebody rent the male for a stud service, or vice versa?
We have discussed this at some length. We have not made a final decision, but I agree. We've also discussed, as a lioness, where is the line drawn between how much you want to go toward reality versus how much you want to, somewhat anthropomorphize it. And so, if it's a lion, obviously a lion wanders around during breeding, whereas a lioness, you have to wait for the cubs. I'll put it that way.
I mean, the man just wants to be a pimp, for God's sake. Can he be a lion pimp?
See, and that's it. And that might be like an OnlyFans account. I don't know that we go down quite that route.
Yeah, your artist might need a change of direction on that one.
So those things are under discussion, but we have discussed that, and it does make sense. We may engage in that to a certain point, but I think it would be only up to that point. I wouldn't want to get too aggressive on that, because for one thing, I think it would probably increase the number of possible cubs, probably too much. And, a big factor for us is long-term sustainability.
Yeah.
So anything that disrupts that is a negative.
So how many lines are we starting off with, and how will breeding affect the supply and the policy IDs? That's from Efo Shizzle.
Ian, you want to give it a go, or me?
I can give it a go if you can hear me, but it's not much use.
You're
No,
good
you
for the moment.
seem all right in a minute.
Okay, sorry, fire that again at me.
What is the starting supply of lions, and how will breeding affect the supply and policy IDs? So, like, are the cubs gonna be on the same policy ID as the original lions, or are they moving on to a separate policy ID, or how's that all working?
Well, that sounds to me like it's a question that I'd have to ask the mentor for a start.
I would assume though that will be a different policy ID because
Yeah,
you will bring a lion and lioness to us, and you will get your very own cubs from that. So they will have to be on their own policy ID.
Okay, and there's no burning involved of the original lions.
There will be retiring at some point, but there will not be a burning. So at some point when you've done with your however many breeding cycles you have, which is is randomized built into the NFT, and at that point you become a patriarch or a matriarch. So you're still within the cycle. You're still important with the cycle. Just the breeding portion will be done. So really, maybe not retiring might be a poor word. Getting into older adulthood.
Yeah, concentrating on other facets of life.
Correct.
Um, so what kind of do you have an outside of the breeding and everything like that? Do you have much in the way of other activities to keep your members happy and entertained and things?
I think this goes back into the Syndicate League and the evolving storyline, and that is more in Ian's wheelhouse. He's been the mastermind behind that.
yes. As Big Cat said, we will follow a storyline. There'll be a lore with a lot of twists, which also will be um, that evolves too. But I mean, these are not like ordinary lions that just lie below a tree in a hot country. Our lions will be able to adapt to any situations, go to space, go underwater, just basically go anywhere and do anything. We will also have, suppose I shouldn't go into too much, but we'll have special traits. It's kind of hidden traits built into lions that may be called up to do special missions. So yeah, there's quite a lot to keep them entertained and to keep the passive income flowing.
Very nice. And do you have like stuff running in Discord separate? Well, I say separately from the project, but not part of the main project. Whether it's poker games or Gartic or other activities that the community enjoys.
Certainly,
Well,
we're running the standards, the Rumble and the Gartic, and plenty of the other ones, some blackjack. The goal is as we move it down the line, not really having a metaverse. I don't think Ian and I kicked this around for some time. I don't see the need for yet another metaverse when most of them are already going to fail. There's not enough need. So that's why we're looking at things like Cartastacks. We're talking with Virtua a little bit and some other ones to where we can have our lions and our artists create 3D versions when necessary that we can go within their spaces. We also own several estates in Boss Planet for Boss Cats. And what we more are planning on doing is having what we would call a miniverse, in that you're able to come on there and be perhaps more of an island or a few islands setting, and you can engage in games that our dev is creating for that. So you can also have that in addition to relying on metaverses from outside third parties.
Nice. So yeah, there'll be plenty of other ways that you'll be able to utilize your lion in the metaverse. Then.
Correct. And even one of the things we've discussed a little, I don't think he would mind me saying, we've discussed with Randall at Elysium Titans, and we have EFO who's here, and Nate from NFT Devils. We're talking about perhaps doing something on a Coliseum style fighting,
Ooh.
and that will be within the Cartastacks as well.
Ooh. And I mean, will that involve perhaps using traits from the lions as they are? So, James Bond lion running around shooting the other lions and stuff?
Well, that's what we're working on a little bit now, but we certainly have to talk with them to make sure it works for everyone. But you can't have a good Coliseum without lions, can you?
Oh, hell no. Oh dear. But yeah, I mean, I've been looking through some of your sneak peeks and showing them off on the YouTube video, and they are incredibly vibrant, actually. Um,
We've we've been really happy with our lead artist. She's really put in some overtime on this, and even when we become uh, ornery, I guess we've put her through her paces a few times, and she just always delivers.
yeah, I mean, I mean, it's an overused phrase, but these images really do pop off the screen at you.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate that. We've trying really hard on that aspect. Maybe it's just me, but I've never been big on. You're looking at an NFT project, and then you don't even like the art. Say, well, it's for the rewards. Well, if the art is what you do, shouldn't that be good too?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the draw, the initial draw for most people to projects anyway.
Correct. I agree completely.
So yeah, I mean, so what resolution are you going to be shipping these in?
I don't have the answer to that offhand. Ian, that might be for you. Now I know we are doing. I don't know if I should say this, but I will. We're doing a higher resolution for the art here, with something that needs to be on, say, Cardistax and some of the other metaverses. We will airdrop as needed to basically no cost. Maybe give us an ad or two to cover delivery cost. A lower resolution to work with different metaverse situations, because that the situation we're in, you're always playing that game of how realistic and virtual and crisp can you make it versus how much slowdown do you get, and especially if you're adding in cell phones, that situation can break down, especially as 5G is rolling out, but it's not everywhere yet.
Yeah.
So we're going to use lower resolution things for metaverse applications.
Okay, I mean, those guys have done a lot of work between themselves, ensuring cross compatibility anyway. So, assuming you can get working models in one metaverse, it's the likelihood is that it will work in most, if not all, the other ones as well.
Correct. And Karin has been just instrumental in that. We've talked with her many times and bothered her. She's fantastic. And we already have, as far as the bonsais, we have a resolution just for them that she has already verified. Said that this is what we need. Just build it within this spec, just to make sure everything works correctly.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, yeah, that's the little things that it's good to be on top of those details this far ahead rather than you're running ahead doing your bits and pieces and you're like, right, okay, well we need to do a 3D model now. Oh crap. you know
Correct. Well, and then it's the great thing of working with other professional projects that you can brainstorm these things and discuss it, and you get ready beforehand, kind of like what we talked about earlier with Ethereum. Well, fixing problems after the fact is far more difficult than planning before the fact.
Yeah, for sure. So how long do you expect it to be after the Tree of Life mint until your first major announcement? After thank you very much, we've sold out, and we're moving forward with things. How long do you expect it to be before the next major announcement?
I was going to say, so just major announcement or more the Lion Mint? Because I suppose that would be the next big deal, but we'll have plenty of announcements between.
Kind of both. I mean, sort of like people are so demanding these days. With they, everybody wants a major announcement every day and twice on Sundays, right?
Don't they, though? Yeah, and that's the thing you always see where you have a mint and everyone's excited, and then everything falls off the cliff.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like you're in a position where you're actually a lot further ahead with things than some other projects are at this stage. So are you going to be being able to make sort of like major announcements like within a week or two of Mint, for instance?
One of the things that we're going to do, debating, I should probably bite my tongue now before I say too much. We're going to do a treasure hunt of a type, and I'll leave it sort of at that. And that will be after.
Ouch.
Yeah, did I go too far already? As far as the Lion's Mint itself, I don't want to, I've been in business my whole life. I don't like over-promising and under-delivering. It's a horrible look. I much prefer the other. I'd much prefer being the conservative element. And then when we bring it a little beforehand, you go, oh, this is even better. As far as minting the lions and that this is going to take some serious work with Dr. Mike and Ian and I sitting down and figuring this out. And that's his playground, but certainly we're going to put our input and let him do what he does with designing it. It's going to take some time because if we don't get to that portion correct, the rest of it won't work correctly. Having said, I'd still like to get that done in a 2 to 3 month period that we're satisfied with it and we can release it. I'm just not willing to rush it and go, well, it's not quite ready to come out of the oven, but fine, everybody's clamoring for it, so let's put it out there. That doesn't benefit anyone long term.
No,
I'm
for
going
sure.
to turn Dr. Lyon's head. He'll want to give up on his job after I've finished with him.
Well, don't make him quit now.
So, do you guys all have second jobs, or is this, is this anyone's only focus, or how is that all working?
I own and run a few companies, so that is what I do, but I don't have to do it full time because I'm more the CEO.
Sorry, things are breaking up. I'm hearing nothing.
We're saying, Ian, what do you do as far as a full time? Because I know you're far more retired than I am, and I'm envious of that.
I'm mostly into crypto. Obviously, I've got the Vault Investments platform, and I do some trading and a few other things. But yeah, I'm full time more or less in crypto and NFTs.
Okay. Another slightly interesting question is, how old are all you guys?
Oh, ancient.
Early 50s, and I've already said too much, but there we
Oh,
go.
okay. No, it's
Mike's a little younger. Mike's the young pup.
Yeah. Myself and Big Cat are a month. There's only a month apart between us. We're both in our early 50s. I'm not sure whether I'm the old one or he's the old one because he won't actually tell me, but I can remember it was a month apart when we first chatted before on the phone. So there you go.
I know
So, speaking of, I see
that's
Mike
quite
there.
interesting actually, because you guys are quite a bit, certainly on the older side of the average age of people coming into the
Hey,
space.
mature is a nicer word.
I mean, I'm 43, so I'm more in your direction than the average age myself. So
Yeah.
I've always been a big technology geek. So when something comes along and I see it and I read about it and sink my teeth into it, which was like crypto, it was immediately. It was obvious. It was revolutionary. Yeah, I know some people are a little older. Well, not me. I've always been fascinated with technology and how it can improve things. Oh, I think Dr. Lyon is back. If we can maybe let him back on the panel.
most definitely.
I know he was having some internet difficulties too.
There we go. Welcome back, Dr. Lyon.
Yeah, I had some issues here with the internet. I think Ian is actually disturbing my internet. I have no idea where he is, but he has an effect on my internet as well, apparently.
Oh dear. Those damn hackers.
But yeah, everything is fine now. I was actually in a different building, so I just moved to the house, and there I have a more stable connection, so should be fine now.
Cool. So another fun question I like to ask people is, what were your first Cardano NFT mints?
Mine was Boss
Assuming you've
Cat.
minted.
Mine was actually Boss Cat. After Big Cat told me to check it out, I went and minted some of it. But I know he was big into it before he actually let me into the secret.
Oh, I haven't left. That was my first one as well.
Very nice, very nice. And what about you, Dr. Lion?
Well, the funny thing is, I haven't minted anything yet because I'm not that big into NFTs like Big Cat and Ian were. Um, but I'm now getting into it and looking into it. And I actually bought my first NFT this morning as a test to see if everything goes well. So I'm not into it yet like the other two, um, but I'm getting there. So actually, the whole Leagues of Lions idea is actually my first kind of experience with the whole
Ah,
NFT business.
very cool. So
We
which
drug him in.
so which NFT did you buy as a test this morning?
It was some kind of rat. I forgot the name even.
Rats now?
I think it was Degen Rat, wasn't it? You were showing me
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah,
Oh,
yes. It was Degenerate. Yes.
yeah. No, that's a cool project actually. I like their art. Like
Yeah, it was
I don't know
actually when it was
too much about them, but they've got really sick art.
yeah when I was looking at the different types as a test, I immediately saw that one. I was like, yeah, that's mine. So I just bought it.
You see, that's the way you should be NFTs. You know, it's not about, is this going to 3x in 10 seconds so I can feed my baby a tin of beans this evening. Like, it's like I like that. I like the project. I want to get involved because, a lot of people think that they're buying NFTs. And yes, you are to a certain extent, but what you're actually really doing is investing in the team. And because without the team, the NFT is nothing.
Correct. So, and that kind of goes back to our other point. I at least, because not every project's going to win, I do want to at least like the artwork, absolute worst case
Yeah,
scenario. But I, certainly on the flip side, I want to understand the vision of the project. I want to read the white paper and see, if I align with that.
yeah, for sure. So has there been much else in the way that I've managed to avoid mentioning so far?
I think we've covered the majority of it. As I'd mentioned before, so I don't want to repeat myself too much, but we like the idea of a passive income stream that will continue even if you don't continue with us. Well, of course, that will be limited. The idea is you continue. We want you on board. But it shouldn't be something where you've bought something and okay, let me throw it with the rest of my worthless stuff because this isn't going anywhere. Um, on the flip side, that needs to be more of a slow process. It goes again a little bit back to the masternode world. These companies and projects they cranked up, and they were offering ridiculous rewards. 100 and 500% ROI, and yet it's pretty obvious that's not sustainable, even for a shorter time period, much less any real time.
Yeah.
But crypto people do tend to be degens, and they know who they're trying to attract. What we're looking to do here is something that has, my mantra again and again is long-term sustainability, and that just comes from a lifetime of business. In that it needs to work. It needs to work short-term, but more importantly, it needs to work long-term.
Yeah, very definitely. Um, yeah, so one thing that we did say that we'd do this evening is we'd do the draw for the whitelist giveaway on the Tools Discord server.
Excellent.
So I believe it was 5 whitelist spots that we were going to give away to tool heads.
That sounds correct to me. I think Ian was setting that up, or Mr. Prank, but yes, I'm pretty sure that's correct. In any case, it is now.
Yes. So what I'm going to need to do is to get one of you guys to install a bot for me quickly. this bot just well, it's actually our main role bot and everything else, but in this context, we're just using it to make sure that the winners of the whitelist are actually in your server. Make sure they've joined as per the rules and have stayed and all that.
Ian, are you able to grab that?
Not really. I'm not
back.
really sure what. I'm on mobile. I'm not really sure what it is I have to install.
Well, this one doesn't require any special permissions or anything, so it's
Okay.
literally it just requires the somebody with admin privileges to say yes a couple of times.
I'll see if I can make this work for you then. What do we have?
I've just sent it to you in a DM.
Great. Let me take a look at that.
And I need to open this and get things set up on my end.
I do not see a DM from you as of yet.
Did I just DM the wrong person and say that I DM'd you? I probably did. Hang on.
No, I'll mess it up in a minute. You mess it up now.
Right. Let me just navigate back to the bot link a sec. All right. So yeah, I sent it to Big Cat. There we go.
Looking. I don't see anything new as of yet. Hang on. I did flip onto my mobile.
I've literally sent it to all three of you in DM at this point.
Well, maybe being on mobile is messing up. Well, no, I'm getting other things in on my laptop. So I should be seeing yours as well.
If I add you as a friend as well.
Yep, I don't have the powers to do
Let
anything.
me accept that. And there we are.
Sweet. Right, make sure I get these numbers right, otherwise it's all going to fail horribly.
Put my authorization code in here. I'm telling you, security can be its own nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, how Discord has ended up being the de facto platform for crypto is quite astounding, given the amount of holes involved in it all, to be honest.
Well, those lovely Canadians. It was not their intent, I know.
No, it wasn't their intent, but yeah. It's been quite a painful experience for some people.
Well, and Telegram has its own pluses and minuses as well. Oh, I get to pick kittens. Hang on, I'm trying. These things are ridiculous.
Kind of interested to know how much of a following you have on Telegram, actually. I mean, I don't like it myself. I kind of stayed away from it, but some projects seem to use it very effectively. So it's an interesting one for me.
Okay,
To be honest,
go ahead.
To be honest, Telegram, we have a presence there, but we have never done anything with it. We do have a couple of really good team members who put all our announcements and updates on Telegram, but we don't really look after our service as much other than keeping it up to date with our latest updates. It is something we could get into in the future, but for now, we haven't really done it with it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Crypto's rather fractured that some portions of crypto, Telegram is their go-to. And other things like CNFBs and that, Discord is the go-to. Now, I believe I do have the bot set up appropriately for you.
Superb. Right, so I'm going to press a button and hopefully magic will happen.
I'm hoping the same.
Yeah. Well, it's not sent me a nasty message yet, so we've got a good chance at this point.
That's positive. I like that.
So, ToolSin, are you the guy that develops all these bots and everything that CNFT Tools uses?
I have the technical ability of a loaf of bread. Um, but as far as the bots go, Legion of Brad does 99% of it. And we have
Okay.
some winners. We have Vice Melt, Bit, Dog Dazed, Big Bang Game Theory, and Nice, Sir Leon, as our winners.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I will just let them know to. Do you have tickets in your server, or should they?
We do indeed. If you just go to submit ticket.
Brilliant! Congratulations, winners! Please open a ticket on the League of Legends.
And my
Lions.
apologies, it's create a ticket.
Oh, there, yeah.
Yeah, I spoke out of turn there. It's create a ticket. It's the wallet that is submit.
Right. Well, that's all done. But yes, always good to have some winners over here on the Tool server, and thank you very much for the gift of the whitelists. Yours are a little bit more valuable than some that we raffle. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you as well. We appreciate very much being on and the time.
That's
Yes,
it. I mean,
thank you.
like, oh. Yeah, I was just saying, I've been looking forward to you guys coming on for a while. It's always a pleasure to see a good team coming on board and everything like that. And I mean, being part of the tools team, I tend to get a bit more inside knowledge on that one. It's the team that has a ticket open in tools. 6 weeks, couple of months ahead of their mint date is a team that's organised and making sure they've got all the I's dotted and the T's crossed. Versus, we have projects saying, oh yeah, we're minting in 6 hours. Can you get it set up now, please? Yeah, we can. And I mean, we do so much to make bad projects look good. But you guys are completely on the ball and getting with it. It's good to see.
What I can say is for a team that puts so much time into attention to detail, and I didn't exactly have a good start. Big Cat didn't have a good start, so it shows we are human after.
Well, we sure didn't, and I still don't want Discord on my phone, but I don't know. Maybe now I have to leave it.
Yeah, I mean, I gave up with my phone years ago. I just turn all notifications off or turn all and just deal with it. Like, I don't turn my ringer on most of the time either anyway.
Same here.
I probably shouldn't even bother having a mobile phone, but it is what it is. But yeah, it just stays on silent and I look at it a couple of times a day and see what's going on.
Yeah. That brings back to something else we were sort of discussing there. So some of the larger projects, I'm rather stunned by. They'll release something, and it's just not very well thought through. And then in the middle of doing a promotion or a giveaway or an NFT, they'll change the rules as they go. It's like, well, whose job was it to do the planning so this wasn't necessary? And apparently it was nobody's job in some of these cases. It's rather frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, making those guys look better than they are. Not just from us, but other parts of the ecosystem as well. Whether it's people jumping in the last minute to help with sorting out metadata and minting issues and so on and so forth. Like it's kind of scary sometimes.
Well, this is part of what makes you guys look so great at what you do, though. There's a lot of thought going on, and anytime I use CNFT anything, it's professional grade. There's so many ways to break things down and itemize and organize. I'm very appreciative.
Yeah, I mean, the obvious question that I've not asked you yet is whether you're going to have your own listing on cnft.tools.
Well, we absolutely will with the lions. Now, on as far as the trees, I don't know. I think Ian's been working on that more. But no, I'll make him do it on the lions. Don't worry.
And say, well, it'll be very interesting as much with the lions, of course, but with the pups as well, because obviously, we can we do constant updates on projects. So as stuff is minted, it's we upload it and rerun the rankings and everything like that. So everything's done dynamically. So it'll be very interesting to see how the Cubs come out, especially with the the different rankings and how people are going to be breeding.
No, and that's something I can easily, truly say you guys are my go-to source whenever I need to filter things that are anywhere getting a little more complicated. I just find the process that you guys have developed is far better than anyone else I've ever tried.
Well, thank you for that, and you can be rest assured in the knowledge that it's all going to be changing again fairly soon,
Oh
as
no,
we've got a new version of the website that is in development.
just don't
It's
break anything.
yeah, well, it's still under quote unquote soon. Um, I'm not going to give any more hints on that before Brad somehow just mystically appears behind me and starts swearing at me. But yeah, there are a considerable number of improvements coming to the tools website. A lot of what this update is about making it easier for us to introduce new features in the future. So hopefully, things will slightly speed up in development going forward. But we'll see how it all goes. And obviously, we like to think we have a fairly robust development plan as well. So we look forward
No, I
to
look very forward. Absolutely, I look
continuing
forward to seeing that
to
as well.
support the marketplace and the projects and obviously the hodlers and the buyers as well.
Well, this bear market too shall pass. I mean, it's a cycle like anything else.
Yeah, that's for sure. Will he be using our verification bots and stuff as well?
ToolSin, I believe that we have already paid for all those in advance, so yes, I do think we are using your full service.
Superb, superb. I mean,
Excellent.
I
I
know I
didn't
can
want us
go
to
into
get
the
it.
ticket and look, but I prefer to ask projects and let them confirm or deny. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, obviously that means that anyone that's got NFTs in any other projects that we already support won't need to re-register, and everything will just work nicely and normally and happily without any extra steps, which will be nice for everybody.
Excellent.
Sounds
Um,
good.
So yeah, I did want to run out a final chance for anyone in the audience to ask any questions that may have popped into their head while we've been chatting away. Um, I have to admit, really enjoyed learning about the project. I kind of feel like we've kind of glossed over the art a little bit. I mean, sort of like how many different trees are there going to be, and is there like rarities within those as well? Because I did see you have like a couple of different like cherry tree and stuff.
Well, within the
Okay.
bonsais, go ahead, Ian.
Okay, there is 1,000 trees in total. There is 10 what we call normal standard bonsai trees, and there's 99 of each of those, which makes 990. Then there's a special tree, which there is only 10. So really, the rarity is in the numbers. But yeah, 1,000 in total.
Yeah, I mean that definitely keeps it on the lower side of supply compared to a lot of mints. Though for OG mints, it's probably around average, if not slightly above average.
Yes,
Correctly.
yes,
Yeah.
correct.
Just trying to stay within that lifetime pass. It should be, relatively exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, how did you come up with the 1,000 number for it? Was it based on the engagement that you'd had to date, or was it a number that you'd had fixed in your mind for a while now for various other reasons?
I think we
Um,
had it somewhat fixed, and then with Ian's development of the syndicate leagues, we kept weighing it out, and that seems pretty, in between number that should work well for us.
That's cool. I mean, because there's no point in having 1,000 um, if you've only got 500 people in Discord or whatever like that. But obviously, you guys are doing considerably better than that. Um, do you think that there's going to be an immediate demand on the secondary market after the mint, or do you think that the whitelist is covering most of the demand that you're seeing for them?
I think Big Cat kind of answered that earlier. He let the cat out of the bag um,
It
by
happens.
his
Right.
earlier comment.
I think we've mostly accounted as far as for the whitelist. With where it's at now, I don't see necessarily all 1,000 being sold with that, but I think we get pretty close. Where it's a whitelist only mint, we don't have the luxury of doing like an airline and selling more seats than what you have, and then everyone
Yeah,
shows up and it's like, well, I guess you're not making this flight.
yeah,
I think that'd be a pretty nasty backlash. So we'll keep some toward the back end, and the company, because we have our own treasury and we support several of our other favorite projects. We'll put a few of those into treasury as well, because that's something I would like to have some percentage of inventory that we have this. As the project grows, I was like, well, okay, there are no more TOLs. Well, if we have a portion that we're willing to let go of, a smaller portion, I think that works well for everyone.
yeah. I mean, that sounds pretty good. I did have another great question in my mind, but it escaped me about half a second before I needed it. So I apologise for that one. Hoping somebody in NFT chat might want to help me out with another question. But no, I think we've done a fairly good job of getting around most of the big questions, as there doesn't seem to be many popping up right now. So I think between the two of us, between the few of us, we've just about managed to knock it out of the park.
So I hope we've done a decent job at presenting everything, that there's not too many questions left.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if there are any more questions at this point, make sure you get over to the League of Lions Discord server or even the Telegram server if you're particularly masochistic. Um, obviously, check out the website. There's links to the white paper there and everything like that, which will be reviewed and updated as soon as possible, like the team mentioned earlier. But yeah, join the Discord, say hello. Definitely say hello from me and the CNFT.tools team, and ask away. And I'm sure the team will be happy to answer, and there'll be about 1,000 other people there ready to answer as well.
Well, and in addition, if you're looking and you haven't read our white paper, it's a bit of an ask. It's a long white paper, but it's detailed. It will absolutely tell you what we're looking at, what we're doing, how we're developing the project.
So yeah, I mean, with that, I think I'd like to give an incredibly big thank you to the League of Lions team for showing up and allowing themselves to be grilled by me. And an even bigger thank you to all the people that have tuned in and listened to us for the last 90 odd minutes or whatever. Massive thank you to you guys. Wouldn't be here without you. And hopefully we look forward to seeing you all over at the Lions Mint on Friday. If you guys just want to give us a final quick rundown on those details, and then we can say goodnight.
Ian, if you'd like to take that.
As none of us know what time it is.
What time is it, ToolSin? Can you remember what I told you?
Right. Well, I had a look on the Discord, and I did think it was saying 3 o'clock. Or I think we said 3 o'clock.
UTC,
So,
that is it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. 3 p.m. UTC. The whitelist mint, well, it's all whitelist, I should say, but the mint will start, and we'll be pretty casual, allowing our whitelist holders to mint. They have been very good due to the fact that we actually set a whitelist challenge back in April 21st, saying if you don't want to mint 7 days before we actually go to mint, we'll open an option for you to sell it back to us for 25 ADA. And
Oh
I
yeah.
must say, we are very pleased that only 15 people have taken this up. And even they have put tickets in and apologised that they didn't have the funds and they would love to be minting. But only 15 people out of the 100 limit that we set took up the offer of getting that 25 ADA, and we'll be paying that out within the next 48 hours. So that is coming out of our money and not the money that we'll get from the mint. But thank you for everyone for their support. You guys are awesome. We love you all.
Yeah, I mean, I'd forgotten I'd seen about that. That was a question that I filed away for later in my mind. But yeah, that's definitely a great offer that I haven't seen any other project do anything similar like that actually, and I think it's a very good way to allow the people to bow out gracefully if they're not able to mint or don't want to mint for any reason.
Yes,
That was Ian's brainchild. He came to me with that, and I went, you are mad." I said, "We're just going to give away 100 worth, of 25 ADA." He went, "I bet we won't," and he was right.
But
um,
no,
how that came about, ToolSin, was well, basically through our reviews of other projects and watching minting and watching the secondary market and the flippers. I mean, people are minting and they're flipping for maybe 15, 20 at a profit, which is absolutely crazy
yeah,
because, it destroys a project on the secondary market. So we thought, okay, we'll sweep the paper hands before the mint. And that was the whole idea behind it. We'll take out the paper hands first, or the people that are maybe intending to flipping for 15, 20 we'll give them 25, and they'll not have to go to the baller of it. So yeah, that's how that came about. It's as I say, just researching the market and say trying to find a solution for every eventuality.
yeah. I mean, again, I mean, you're helped by having a smaller whitelist there as well, like compared to other projects that might have a couple of thousand names on their whitelist or whatever. So it does make it easier to do. But also you're now in the situation where every single person on the whitelist knows that every single person on the whitelist wants to mint because they would have been if anyone didn't want to mint they'd have taken the 25 ADA for free and said ta see you later.
Correct.
Yeah, correct. I mean, this is something that we have made clear from, as I say, April 21st. We more or less said we'll prove ourselves before we go to mint, or else you can sell your whitelist back to us. And as I say, we are very very pleased with the results. That only 15 people out of the possible 100 limit that we set have taken up that offer. So yeah, great results.
Yeah, I mean, is that offer all oh sorry, I mean, like the other question that I really need to ask at this point is, aside from the five whitelist spots that I just pulled for the tool server, is there much in the way of opportunities to get onto the whitelist anymore?
Sorry, the five that you have pulled. Do you mean can they sell back their whitelist?
No,
I
no.
was saying,
I
how many in
mean,
addition?
yeah. How many's left for someone that's just listened to this back on YouTube tomorrow, and they think, right, actually, this sounds amazing. I need to get on the whitelist.
Get into our server, and if you are looking to mint, if you want to be part of our project, we are there to accommodate you. At the end of the day, if you want to take the time and the effort, we're not looking you to jump through hoops. Just show some interest that you're looking to mint, and we'll sort you out with a whitelist. Obviously, we only have a limit to what we can do, but yeah, we still got whitelist spots available.
And those will be closing down Wednesday evening.
Correct.
Nice. So people have still got a little bit of a chance to get in and get involved. Then
Correct.
nice. But yeah, I mean, I think on that note, I'll unless I mean, I'll get halfway through saying good night again, and there'll be another question pop into our heads. I'm sure it happens so often. Um, but yeah, I mean, like, a big thank you to you guys for showing up, and allowing me to waffle at you for 90 minutes. And yeah, again, big thank you to everyone that's tuned in live. And if you're reaching this at the end of the YouTube video, big thumbs up for you. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe and share, and make sure you definitely check out the links below, which will be all of the League of Lions links that you could possibly need.
Thank you very much, ToolSin, and thank you everyone for putting up with my microphone difficulties. I appreciate the tolerance.
Yes, thank you to everyone as well, and to yourself, ToolSin. I don't know how you managed to put up with us for over 90 minutes, but hey, you made it. Great job.
I say, well, I've always been a cat lover, so and you guys are just as cute as a kitten.
Well, you're in the right place.
So yeah, thank you again, and I hope you'll have a brilliant evening and week, and I look forward to seeing you all on Friday.
Excellent.
Great. Looking
Thank you
forward
much,
to it.
everyone.
Cheerio.
Good time, everyone.